Okay, today is the anniversary of the Rebbe and the Rebbetzin. By the Rebbe's wedding, the previous Rebbe made an announcement. He said, usually at a wedding, several generations, ancestors of the brood and the groom and the bride come to the wedding. But there are occasions when more than just the past three generations come. Sometimes more generations come. And the previous Rebbe said that by this wedding, not only the past three generations, but he mentioned the Alter Rebbe and the Mittler Rebbe and Tzemach Tzedek, the Marash, the Rebbe Rashab. Something really unique happened at the Rebbe's wedding. The Rebbe said, this is the day that connected me to you and you to me. Rabbi Drazen, Olav Shalom, a major part of this community, he instituted in this shul, they should not recite the confessionary prayers on this day. That I was by the Rebbe's wedding, I saw what this event was, and I can promise you that the confessionary prayers do not belong on such a day. That's what he said. He said, I was by the wedding, and I saw whatever he saw, and whatever he felt, and that made a major impression on the people community. And when I joined the community, everyone's like, don't you know, Rabbi? You don't say the confessionary prayers on the 14th of Kislev. It's the Rebbe's anniversary. Okay? So there's something special, though, obviously. If the Rebbe says, this is the day that connected me to you and you to me, then this is something really special to us. This is the day that made us connected to the Rebbe. So let's go to where we need to go. Where do we need to go? I'm sure that maybe some of you have something in common with me, which is that sometimes you get tired. You get tired, you put some energy into something, and things don't turn out the way you expected them to, and you need to have more energy to continue. And the question is, where do you get that energy from? When you're trying, you're pushing, and it has to come from within. Because if it doesn't come from within, what happens is you end up feeling like you're just like a screw in a machine, and you're pushing and pushing and pushing. In order to really maintain your equilibrium and consistency, you have to have a fire within you. The question is, how do you get that fire? Where does it come from? Some people have it, some people doesn't seem like they do, and everyone has days when they're better, days when they're worse. What do you do when you feel like you need more energy, and where do you get that from? What's a way to summon that spark? So this week actually we read about the difference between the winners and losers. This Shabbos, this parsha talks about the key to success and how to be a winner. Torah talks about how Yaakov Avinu, our grandfather Yaakov, met the angel of Esau, the angel of Esav, and they had a fight. Before the Torah says they had a fight, the Torah says that Yaakov was alone. On the surface, by saying Yaakov was alone, the Torah is talking about how weak he was. He was only there by himself. But as we'll see, this is actually the key to strength. Today in my class I teach young boys, 12 years old, 13 years old, and I asked these boys, have you ever felt alone? Very interesting to hear this perspective of little children. This boy says, I was in Big Bear, and one of my relatives showed me this really cool slope. I think it was called Black Diamond. That sound familiar?
Black Diamond.
He went down Black Diamond. This boy had never skied before, and all of a sudden he's 50 miles an hour going down the slope, and I felt very alone. And what did I do? So thank God he tumbled over and he rolled over and he was okay. But he didn't know what to do. 50 miles an hour, and I felt very alone at that moment. There is something that attacks Yaakov. There's something that attacks each of us, and that is the angel of Esau. The different ways the angel attacks us. The different opinions about what the angel looked like, the angel that Yaakov fought with, the angel he wrestled with. The three opinions. And it's not just three opinions. There are three scenarios inside of ourselves that we have to contend with today to deal with the things in our life that don't belong. We have a godly soul. We have a really good part of us. Redemption means to reveal who you are and what you are, and not to give in to mediocrity. And there are three kinds of challenges that can make you give in to mediocrity. And we have to learn from how Yaakov contended with this to be a winner. What are the three ways the angel of Esav looked like? Three opinions. One opinion is the angel of Esav looked just like the angel of Esav should look like in the cartoons. What would he look like? He would look like a a robber, a highway robber. He would look like a thug. That's the way he looked. Similar way in ourselves. There's also another opinion. They look like a merchant. They look like a businessman. And a third opinion is you look like a Torah scholar. A Torah scholar. So the thug. You know what the thug is inside ourselves? It says in the Talmud, a person does not commit a sin unless a spirit of madness enters them. Sometimes the reason why a person makes a mistake is because they have a very strong desire to do something. It's very clear that there's an issue that's being brought to you that doesn't belong in your life, but the way it's presented to you is like, this is good for you. You'll feel so good. If you just look at this, you just do this, you'll feel so good. Just give in. It's so good for you. So overtly, you're talking about doing something that's wrong, but the evil inclination suggests to you the thing that's wrong, and he tells you how beneficial it is for you, how wonderful it is for you. He tells you clearly, like, let out your rage, get out your anger, you got to let it out. What happens, as Maimonides says, is that you don't let out your anger. You intensify it for the next time. That's not how it works. You don't let out your anger. It doesn't work. Temporarily, yeah, you have some respite from your anger. So one kind of method the evil inclination uses to get us is the highway robber. He tells you clearly to go violate the will of Hashem, albeit as telling you that you'll still be a good Jew, and there's something you deserve, and there's something that's good for you. That's one kind of method he uses. He tells you clearly and overtly to do something that's wrong. You feel a real attraction, real yearning, real passion, do something that doesn't belong in your life. That's one method. Second method, the evil inclination, the angel of Esau, angel of Esau looks like the Yaakov is, looks like a merchant, it looks like someone who's doing business. What does that mean in ourselves? The angel doesn't tell you do something wrong. The angel tells you, you really have to earn a living. Earning a living is important. So because earning a living is important, so you have to sacrifice some corners and other things which may be important, but isn't this important too? So on the altar of earning a living, he tells you to sacrifice things that are really good for you, like having some warm, fiery words in your prayers to Hashem. That obviously, that's beneficial. Every Jew recognizes that talking to Hashem deeply and really is something that's meaningful. But the evil inclination comes along and he says to you, well, you got to get to work. And don't you know your work is important? So no one's arguing if work is important or not. Of course, Hashem tells a person he has to make a vessel for a livelihood. But who says that on the altar of work you have to sacrifice your davening? Who says? Maybe it's possible to get up a few minutes earlier and to daven. And maybe if you woke up a few minutes later and getting a few minutes later to work is not such a bad idea. Gasp. Mic drop. But the evil inclination, the second form of evil inclination is a businessman, and he tells you that for the sake of important things, you should just compromise. Then there is in today's world something similar, not just for a thank you so much. No, you're not supposed to ask a kohen to do anything for you. Now this is going to be 2 kohenim. This is like, I don't know how long I have to sit and downstairs for this one. It better be a really good cup. Is this Smirnoff? Is water?
We're out to get you, Rabbi.
Not one kohen to another.
Amen, Rabbi. We're out to get you.
Anyways, another similar thing that we find today especially is media, is social media. Being lost in social media. There's a voice in you that says, no, don't you have to have social media? Don't you have to be social? Don't you have to have friends? Don't you? And they're all truths. The evil inclination is telling you truths. He's telling you that you should go after something which is valuable and important. But the problem is he tells you to do this in a way that's unhealthy, in a way that's toxic, in a way that you're sacrificing something more important. So that's the second form of evil inclination. He says, go after something which is important and let go of other things which are even more important, things which are vital to who you are. Second form. Then there's the most lethal, the most insidious, the most difficult one. The most difficult evil inclination is the Torah scholar. What does the Torah scholar evil inclination tell you? Torah scholar evil inclination, the previous Rabbi says, this kind of evil inclination, he preys on specifically very, very, very refined souls, very delicate souls. Very delicate souls experience sometimes unusual davenings. If you have a higher neshama, when you daven, it's a little easier for you to get into it and to feel it. And what happens is one day you don't feel it. One day you feel like lousy when you're davening. So the evil inclination says to you, you see, it was all a lie. You see, it was all false. I'll never forget getting the flu I got the flu right before COVID. And it was not COVID. Right before COVID, I got the flu. And I remember feeling like so discombobulated that I was like angry. I have to read another page. What do you want? I was feeling so delirious, so confused. And that's the evil inclination when you get into that mood, and that happens. What he does, he says to you, is you see it's all a lie, you see it's all false, you see it's all worthless. You're not the guy. You think you're the guy, you're not the guy. When Hashem created the world, it said God created two inclinations, the good inclination and the evil inclination. When God created the evil inclination, you know what God said? God saw that it was, anybody know? Very good. Very good.
Oh my God.
Why I say it's very good? It should have said very lousy, right? Yeah. Why I say very good? The answer is God was telling us a method of the evil inclination. One of the methods of the evil inclination is He tells you, be very good. Be very good. Now, you can't be very good. You could be good. Being very good, that's a little harder to reach. That's a little more confusing. In other words, being very good means being on a level which is beyond you. The evil inclination says you dive in this level, why can't you be there? So when you hear that, you start saying, because I'm really worthless, I'm really valueless, I'm really not the guy. And when as soon as you think you're not the guy, then he derails you and gets to do other things also. That's a third form of the evil inclination. Torah scholar, businessman, and highway robber. So what happens to our hero in the story, Yaakov Avinu? He has to deal with all kinds of evil inclination. He's our grandfather, so he's paved the way for us. Highway robber, Torah scholar, and, anybody remember? Merchant. What does Jacob do? The Torah says Jacob was alone. The Talmud says that if there's a pot that's being watched by two people, it's going to get burnt. Being alone has its value on a simple level. When you're alone, you know it's your job. There's a surgeon who says that when he goes to do surgery, he has very, very difficult surgeries. When I go in that room, I'm no longer who I was before. All I am is a doctor, and I just feel like totally like laser focused on the task at hand, and that's how I'm able to do it. There is an advantage. Everyone knows if you have a team of 3 people, it's not as sharp as when something's placed directly on your shoulders. But there's something deeper here. Yaakov is alone, the Talmud says, is connected to a pasuk in Isaiah, Ki niskav shmei levadei. God's name is exalted alone. Yaakov is alone, like God is alone. What does that mean? There's a tzaddik whose name was Rabbi Cheskel Abramsky. I think we discussed him a few months ago. Rabbi Cheskel Abramsky, although he wasn't from Chabad circles, he did teach in the Chabad yeshiva. He was a brilliant Torah scholar. And he did a hard time in the gulags in Soviet Russia. On one occasion, he was very upset because he was a roommate with a former lawyer, a Russian lawyer. And the Russian lawyer sees that one day he's very, very, very depressed. Why is it so depressed? I can't explain to you why I'm depressed. You wouldn't understand. But I'll try. He says, before I came into prison, my whole life was God and Torah. But I don't have any of this stuff. I don't have my friends. I don't have my books. I don't have my tefillin. I don't have my Shabbos. I don't have anything that of what I had before. There's nothing in my previous life I have here. So he's very depressed. The next day, the roommate sees him. He sees he's alive. He's happy. He's excited. There's some blood in his face. What happened to you? So I'll tell you. I'm used to since I'm a 3-year-old getting up in the morning and saying these words as soon as I get up in the morning. The words are, I offer thanks to you, living an eternal King, for you have mercifully restored my soul within me. Your faithfulness is great. The last 2 words, Rabbi Nusacha, I always understood to mean, God, you're always faithful to me. No matter what I did yesterday, you gave me a soul again today. You're faithful to me. You don't let go of me just because I wasn't behaving so good yesterday. You still gave me my soul. You still took care of me. You're faithful to me. If you're not faithful, then someone doesn't behave so good. So okay, you let go. God doesn't let go. But today, Rabbi Abramsky said, I woke up this morning. I realized that those words mean something else. Rab amunasecha, great is your faith, Hashem. You, God, have faith. If I mean, who does God have faith in? Chaim. In Chaim. You believe in Chaim. If you woke me up this morning, that means that you believe in me. That means there's something that only I can do, and that's why I'm here. Rabbi Abramsky realized that Imam has changed his life. I don't know if it was this or something else, but he once was speaking to the previous Rebbe in an audience. The previous Rebbe said that for this discovery you had in prison, it was worth going to prison for. I'm not sure if this teaching or something else he discovered. But anyway, his point is that Yaakov is alone. You know what it means Yaakov is alone? Like God is alone. What does that mean? Ships are a lot safer at the dock. Ships are safe at the dock. The safest place for a ship is a dock. But ships weren't built to stay in the dock. Ships were built to go out into the sea and to accomplish and to bring and to do. It's safer in the dock, but that's not what the ship is for. God made me personally for my unique mission that I have in the circumstances that I'm in the place that I'm in the time that I'm in, and I have something to contribute here, and only I could do it. That's how Yaakov felt. Yaakov felt alone. Yaakov felt that Hashem is alone and he is alone. He's different than everybody else. And feeling alone, Chaim, doesn't make you weaker, it makes you stronger. I think that Israel, the reason why Israel did the operation of Rising Lion is because Israel discarded, at least temporarily, a myth that Israel's been telling itself for a long time. Israel always has been telling itself, we need America, we need America, we need America. Now, I know you're going to say America was behind them, they knew, but this is different. Israel said to themselves, we don't care, we're just going to go. And then the world came along with them. And when Israel says to America, we need you, we want you, can you help us, please, 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 we'll do anything if you give us help. Then what does America look at Israel? America looks at Israel as Shmendrix. We don't need you. But when a Jew is, as Rabbi Dr. Jonathan Sachs, all Shalom, used to say, non-Jews respect Jews who respect themselves. Non-Jews are embarrassed of Jews who are embarrassed of themselves.
Yeah.
The Torah says that after Yaakov met Esav says to Yaakov, so where are you going next, Yaakov? You know, like the advertisements for Disneyland. So where are you going next? So what did Jacob say? I'm going to Disneyland. No, Jacob said, I'm going to a lot farther than he planned to go. I'm going to Seir. That's what he told Esav. Esav's like, okay, I guess I won't meet you because I was going to go somewhere else. That's really far out there. Okay, I'll see you later. And the Maimonides says in the Laws of Protecting Your Life in chapter 12, the Maimonides says, when a Jew meets a Gentile asks you, where are you going? You should always say, I'm going farther away. Why should you go farther away? Rambam says, look at our grandfather Yaakov. Yaakov said, I'm going farther away. So too a Jew should always say, I'm going farther away. Okay. But was Jacob really lying? So Rashi says he wasn't really lying. Because when Mashiach will come, Jacob will meet Esau in Seir. Yaakov will meet Esav in Seir. Jacob was saying, I will meet you, not today, not tomorrow, but we will meet when Mashiach will come. We're going to meet, Mashiach's coming today. But Jacob then was saying, we'll meet someday when Mashiach comes. So what's going on over here? When a Gentile threatens a Jew has to respond to the Gentile. What's your response to the Gentile? What's your response to the anti-Semite? What makes an anti-Semite? What emboldens an anti-Semite? And what weakens anti-Semite? When the anti-Semite hears the Jew saying, I know where I'm going towards Mashiach, Yaakov said to Esav, I'm going towards Mashiach, the Gentile understands that even now you're free. Even now you're not under the servitude of the Gentile. But if a Jew feels that this is my home, this temporary exile is where I am, this is all I'm about, and the Gentile says, I have a power over you. So this is what happened with Yaakov. Yaakov is alone. Why is Yaakov alone? Because Yaakov feels, I'm the only guy who could do this. I'm the only guy that God is throwing the ball to. The Talmud says a story about Elisha ben Avuya. Elisha ben Avuya made a lot of mistakes in his life. And at one point in his life, he repented. And when he repented, the Talmud says, he realized that he made so many mistakes. What should I do? I made all these mistakes. And he said, heaven and earth help me. And they said to him, we can't help you. He says, sun and moon help me. He said, we can't help you. And he said, I realize it only depends on me. Sorry, it wasn't Elisha ben Avuya, I'm sorry. This was, no, sir. Thank you, Beryl. Give that guy another l'chaim. Thank you, Beryl. Yes, Lezin Adaya. It's a different story. Lezin Adaya, when he made all these mistakes in his life, and he said, heaven and earth help me, sun and moon help me, and they all said, we can't help you. Then he put his head between his knees, and he said, it only depends on me. When he said, it only depends on me, then his soul left his body. He returned to God fully, and a voice came out from heaven and said, ding, 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 ding. He made it. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi says he's summoned to the world of Rabbi Elazar Nudaya. When all these treacherous mistakes before, he is summoned to the world to come. He made it. So that's the key of Yaakov. Yaakov felt, I'm the only guy. That doesn't make you weaker, understand? It makes you stronger. You feel Hashem chose you on you alone. And this is what the Torah tells us. That after Yaakov meets the angel of Esau, what happens next? Yaakov says to the angel to bless him. Not only does he win against the angel, but Yaakov says that I have a unique blessing over here. And what does Yaakov say the blessing is? I've seen God face to face. Tell me what Yaakov is saying. So deep what he's saying. Face to face means when you're able to see your challenge as Hashem. The challenge itself is God. I see Hashem face to face, Yaakov said. I don't see the bandit. I don't see the merchant. I don't see the Torah scholar. I see something else over here. I can see a blessing that came out of this. I see that God sent, the Chassidus says that specifically the hardest kind of evil inclination, the Torah scholar, actually has, because it's dressed holy, actually has a higher spiritual caliber. It's a harder evil inclination. It's more confusing, the evil inclination of the Torah scholar. You want to be better, be better, be better. It's harder, it's more confusing. But there's a greater blessing there. There's a greater blessing there. And this is the Torah's conclusion over here. What does the Torah say? The Torah says, Yaakov says, I've seen God face to face. Have you ever seen God face to face? The Talmud says, if someone asks you where God is, what should you say? Someone asks you, where's God? What should you say?
Where is he not?
That's not what the Talmud says, but it's a good answer too. No? Strike two. Anybody know where God is? Anybody? Hello? How about you know where the three train?
Wherever you will look for him.
Strike three, you guys are out. It says in the Talmud, you're all right. I'm asking what it says in the Talmud. The Talmud says, if someone asks you where God is, you should tell him, God is in the capital of Rome. Why in the capital of Rome? Why is in the capital of Rome? Because Rome caused such suffering to Jewish people. And the suffering, the Torah says, a person does not see from the white in their eyes, see from the black in their eyes. The Torah says that specifically the challenges of Rome help the Jewish people discover their soul. Like an olive, when it's crushed, the oil comes out. So Yaakov says, I saw God face to face. Where did Yaakov see God face to face? In this encounter, Yaakov realized this encounter is Hashem sending me an opportunity to go deeper, to go higher than ever was before. I am alone. God is alone. God chose me to this place, and therefore the circumstances that I'm in. I'll include one more point. I think this brings it home.
Rabbi, it's happened to us too.
This is our story. This is our story.
I don't want it's one exception for Jacob.
This is Yaakov and Shaul and Moshe and David and Chaim.
Now I'm happy.
This is our story. I'll tell you one conclusion, one story that brings it home. Rabbi Raskin, who was sent by the Rebbe, label Raskin? No, sorry, Rabbi Michal. Rebbe's first emissary was to Morocco. Very first emissary. And he built in Morocco, he was told by the Rebbe to build
Why was in Morocco the first?
The previous Rebbe, before he passed away, told the Rebbe that they should take care of the Jews in northern Africa. And I guess they needed it more. There's a lot of Jews there. Before Matusov. I think it was Rabbi Raskin, or was it before Rabbi Raskin? Rabbi Michal Lipsker, I think it was, Michal Lipsker. So he was the first emissary of the Rebbe, sent to Morocco. And he had a hard time. What's a hard time? The Rebbe told him to build a mikveh. He's like, build a mikveh, you know, we got camels. Building a mikveh is impossible. It was impossible. It was impossible. Or it seems so. The Rebbe said to him, someone shared this as past Shabbos, amazing. The Rebbe said to him, you have to realize something. If God says to build a mikveh, that means the circumstances are already there. It's already available. And you're the guy who could do this. It means you could do this. All that's missing, the Rebbe says, is your desire that you want to do it. That's all that's missing. And that's what happened with Yaakov. Yaakov is alone. Yaakov says, Hashem chose me, and I want this. I want this mission. That's the fire we have to bring out in ourselves. We feel we're losing it. To realize Hashem chose you exactly for where you are. Exactly the circumstance. No matter, and when you realize that brings out in yourself this deeper connection, this deeper energy, this Mashiach energy. And this is what happened at the Rebbe's Chasna. The Rebbe said that this is the day that connected me to you and you to me. That the mission is to bring Mashiach. That's what the mission is. And Mashiach is brought through Eliyahu, Dahan, and Baruch Neufeld, and Zalman Roth, and Moshe Levin, realizing it means he means us. He means us, he means now.